Okay, so we've got our transition looking pretty decent. One thing we can do is now change the content of this right side so that maybe we introduce another image after we land on this composition. So let's see how we can do that. So what we want to do is when this animates on, we want to animate this image up and introduce a new image that we're going to place in our composition. So let's grab our boots image here and just bring it in. And let's just scale it down and give it a placement. Maybe there. Let's just trim off a little bit of excess from the top of this image just by adding a mask, double clicking, and then just selecting the top vertices, bringing that down. And now we need to duplicate our track mat to trim off the bits of this boot. So let's find our track mat, duplicate that layer, and apply the track mat. So that's good. So now we need to create this additional upward motion. So let's start by unparenting our forest layer. That's good. And we want to duplicate these nulls, our position null, scale, and rotation null, and move them to the top. Change their color. And then we'll move them closer to the layers that we're trying to affect. So now we want these nulls to keep their relationship here. This null is parented to the scale null, which is parented to the rotation null. And let's just look at the image on these nulls. So we actually want to rotate this rotation null. We actually want to put it back to 0 and just see what direction things are moving in. Okay, so if we were to parent this up, our image would shoot downward, but we actually want it to push upward. So we're going to go into our scale and we're just going to scale it on the y-axis, let's say -100. Let's just scrub our values, and now we have that position that we want, and that's great. So now we want to parent this rotation null, which doesn't have a parent right now, and we want to connect it to the chain here that we've created that's driving all of our other layers. So we'll just parent this to our position null. And so that's good. That's good. Okay, so let's bring up our keyframes for this null. And we want to finish the movement in this state with our boot here. So let's just parent our boot to this null. Now if we scrub through, okay, so that's good. We'll adjust the timing in a moment. That's good. And now we need to parent up the forest image, and we actually want to parent the forest image at the beginning, at the first keyframe, because remember, we already composed this image with our forest framed up the way we want. So we have to go to the beginning and then parent our forest image to this null. Okay, so we've got the motion that we want. And now we just have to adjust the timing, and to do that, we really only need to pull these keyframes, or this layer rather. So now if we play it back, we have this transition here, and then inside of that we transition and introduce our boots image, and now it's just a matter of getting the timing that we want. And the timing will be kind of planned out to your music. So when we jump into our render comp and we set our playhead right at a specific spot on our audio, then when we jump into our layout comp or our comp 2, our playhead's actually going to stay in the spot that we set it at in our render comp, and that's really going to help us time these motions out. So now if we just turn the music off here, and let's just see what our motions look like in our render comp. Okay,